Okay, Scorpio, this is your reading for love and relationships, June 2017. Okay, your first card is a Ten of Wands. You have Four of Swords, Ace of Swords, Queen of Cups, Queen of Wands, Shadow Side reversed. This is also known as the Devil in different tarot decks. I have a Seven of Wands. I have the Five of Wands reversed. So wands seem to be very prominent in your spread so far. A Two of Pentacles. Okay, so of course I will pull one last outcome card after the main reading. So there's a battle with this fire. Fire is overwhelming in your spread and definitely overwhelming in your story. Now, you are a water sign. There is one card with water. We have a Queen of Cups. And then you have a Queen of Wands here in the middle. So just a reminder, just because we see queens doesn't mean that it necessarily has to represent a woman. This could be the energy of a man that you're attached to. And likewise for, even if you are attracted to a woman, of course, it could be man or woman. So what I'm seeing here is a contrast or a conflict with the fire energy. And especially with this shadow side reversed, this is your one major arcana card. I don't see anything else. The shadow side is about fighting the power of a negative energy. And sometimes it can mean addiction and feeling powerless, being chained to something that's difficult to let go of, especially a dysfunctional or abusive relationship. But that's the extreme interpretation. In a more subtle interpretation for a relationship energy reading, this is about someone in a relationship exploiting your weaknesses. So when this is when this is not reversed, when it's in right side up, this is about you fighting, overcoming your weaknesses in a relationship. Maybe you have low self-esteem. Maybe this is about feeling insecure in a relationship, or jealousy, or all those things that most people struggle with in a relationship that can also damage a relationship. And not just your insecurities or your fears or your low self-esteem. This could be being attached to a partner who has those issues, and you are dealing with the brunt of those dysfunctional patterns. Okay, maybe there's someone that you're attached to who keeps cheating. And so when this is in right side up, if you're attached to a partner or in love with someone who keeps lying and cheating to you, this right side up is about you overcoming that negative energy to stand up for yourself and stop being taken advantage of. Now, this is in reverse. And when it's in reverse, it still means you're battling this negative energy, but it can mean that you're losing hope, that you are still caught up in this negative energy and you're being deceived and you're not seeing things for what they are. So keep that in mind here. And so I feel like this shadow side, because also the shadow side or the devil is associated with hell and heat and fire. And it's one interpretation is that this fire of the wands, this dominant fire of the other person perhaps, is all-consuming and overpowering you in the relationship. So, having said that, in this first row, which are your past influences, we do have that 10 of Wands, which is a struggle through obstacles. But 10 is the number of closure and new beginnings. Then we have a Four of Swords, which is the card of detachment, taking a rest, taking a break. Maybe there was a breakup. And so it kind of makes sense that if a relationship has been under a lot of pressure and, lots of arguments and just being very tired of the negative patterns in the relationship, it kind of makes sense that this Four of Swords follows it. That, okay, let's take a break. We need to break up. We need to get some space. And so we have this Ace of Swords, which brings clarity. Okay? And it brings understanding. It can also be, because it's an ace, which is about new beginnings, it starts over. The number 10, once you're done with the number 10, you go back to the ace. And so what I'm kind of looking at in your past influences is a transition to try to, maybe for some of you Scorpios, this was about breaking up and trying to get some perspective, think things over, and just trying to understand what direction you need to go in. Okay? But the basic energy around the Ace of Swords is truth. It's seeing things clearly and acting on what you see. Okay? So, having said that, when we get to the present here, once again, I do see a struggle here between this Queen of Cups and this Queen of Wands, water and fire. And the Queen of Wands is in the middle. And then after this Queen of Wands, it seems like, it almost feels like she won the battle, because then the fiery energy of the shadow side reversed shows up after this Queen of Wands. And so for some of you Scorpios, once again, I keep getting this feeling of dominance, of someone wanting to have their own way, because anybody with fire, and this can be seen as a little bit positive, that this Queen of Wands is very confident. She always knows what she wants. She's very extroverted. And for that reason, someone with a Queen of Wands can be very dominant, man or woman. So looking at that, I think the struggle for some of you Scorpios is struggling through this relationship, the imbalance of the relationship, and someone who is dominating your very sensitive emotional nature, because you do feel you're a very introverted energy. You feel first, and then you think. Okay? And so this imbalance, once again, is going to have a big influence on your future. Now, this Seven of Wands, when we look at the trajectory of the wands and what's going on with this dominant fire energy, so we have this overwhelming sense of a struggle here with the Ten of Wands. Maybe this person that some of you are attached to are like, I'm so over this, I don't get my way, I'm ready to walk out. That brings us to the Queen of Wands, who doesn't necessarily rule. Queens are passive energy, but this is definitely someone who, the way they think, the way they communicate, is having an impact on the relationship. So you see this person here being very defensive. They're facing down the 6 wands here, and they have their own wand. They're fighting back. And so in the future, I get a sense that someone in your life is going to be very defensive. They're trying to hold their ground in the territory, and that is not a bad thing. And it could even be that some of you need to harness this fire energy for yourselves. But in the future, I see a lot of defensiveness and push and pull with a particular person. So then we go into this 5 of Wands reverse. Now the 5 of Wands is pretty interesting because once again, we have a struggle, we have a battle. You see the knight fighting these dragons, okay? And the 5 of Wands, when it's not reverse, can mean a lot of arguments and not getting along and lots of conflict. And when it is in reverse, it gets a little bit more intense because then things start to, then you really start to have serious disagreements and people not getting along. So in the material world, I see this with this 2 of Pentacles as trying to find balance in this material world with all these struggles that are disrupting your life, your actual life, where you live, how you work, how you physically relate to people and live with people. This 2 of Pentacles is the card of trying to find balance, to keep things, to not let things fall apart. The only problem is when you're constantly juggling, you have to keep your eye on what you're juggling, okay? And sometimes that can lead to more distraction. And the interesting thing is that it could actually lead back to that 10 of Wands as well. That struggle and conflict in the relationship. And in the future, I don't necessarily see breakups in your relationships for some of you Scorpios. But what I do see is having to just trying to keep things in balance, trying to resolve the arguments, trying to resolve the mistrust and some of the dishonesty some of you are experiencing. And maybe or maybe not, that might be a good thing in the future. I would like to give this I like to see this in a positive way, where you and another person, for those of you who are in established long-term relationships or in marriages, where you two sit down and have a conversation like, okay, how are we going to work this out? How are we going to have balance in the real world? Okay, so lots of juggling and multitasking. And another interpretation that I want to throw out there for some of you Scorpios, when I do relationship readings and I see the 2 of Pentacles, I'm also seeing someone who might be juggling 2 relationships. They can't commit to one relationship. They would rather juggle 2 relationships. They're caught between 2 relationships. And that could actually be, for some of you, some of the issues that you're dealing with this conflict with the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands could actually represent a third party in a love triangle. Okay, and you guys are just trying to, this person is jealous, they're insecure, they're always trying to create conflict. It could even be ex-girlfriend or ex-boyfriend who is still in the mix and just causing trouble. Okay, so yeah, I'm just trying to give some flexibility here for what I'm seeing, because yes, this is Scorpio's reading, but I know that there are thousands of Scorpios who are all having different experiences. So let me pull the outcome card. How will this juggling work out? Oh, wow. I have a 10 of Swords. So keep in mind this strong energy of the shadow side reverse, which is a major arcana. Some of that energy of the shadow side is going to play a role in this fiery conflict with the wands. And someone's going to be betrayed. I'm not sure it's going to be you, but remember, the 10 of Swords can be someone stabbing you in the back, not literally, but this card is actually a depiction. The traditional tarot, when they have this 10 of Swords and the person is stabbed in the back, this is actually based on the history of Caesar, where he was, the Senate stabbed him in the back. He didn't know that people were plotting against him. He had no idea what was coming, and he was betrayed by friends. But this is also a card about feeling hopeless and wanting to give up. But it's another 10. And what does that mean? It means that things are going to get as bad as they can get. But it's sort of like it's always darkest before the dawn. And I know a lot of you are like, oh, well, thank you, Aire. That really makes me feel better. But the fact of the matter is, sometimes you do have to go through the worst in order to get to the best. And I think someone put a comment in YouTube when this card showed up for someone last month in one of the readings, and they says, oh, well, that's great. You're actually trying to make a 10 of Swords positive. Thanks a lot. But you should always try to see these things as helping you grow, helping you move forward. But as an outcome card, I just think some of you Scorpios need to just be aware of betrayal, someone going behind your back and constantly making you a target. Like I said, jealous ex-girlfriend or boyfriend, maybe with your partner there's serious disagreements. Maybe some of you are attached to that toxic individual, as I saw in the shadow side, and they're going to let you down again. There might be some betrayal. For some of you, not as serious. Maybe this is a pattern to where they get caught again. But then for some of you, you just need to be very wary. Don't take the relationship for granted, because there could be some serious communication issues. So keep that in mind. See this as a warning from the tarot that someone who has negative intentions towards you, it's going to come to a head, and you don't want to be blindsided. Okay, so Scorpio, that was your reading. I want to thank everybody as usual, all my regulars, and I'm going to be giving some of my regular clients some free readings in the future. So look out for some of those emails. Some of you are going to get some great news via email from me. And just another reminder, check out my relationship energy readings, where the readings will look at what's going on with the connection between you and a partner, and how the relationship will go in the future, and what feelings and intents exist in the relationship. It's only $15, so definitely check it out. Go to tarotbyaire.com. So thank you so much. I hope your spring is going wonderfully. Summer's going to be here officially. Summer will be here in a few weeks, so I'm looking forward to that. I will see you next month, and I will see you on YouTube. And I always wish you love and light. Take care.